So that we are going to get to a voicemail now. We do have a voicemail we want to get to before we talk about the next award. This one's from Kenny Mack.
Yo, guys, it's Kenny Mack, and shout out to all our guys nominated in all those categories that won. But we got to talk about the Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, what's going on, Steelers fan? You got to just take your little yellow towel and dry your eyes and get over this. There's two things that you guys are doing right now. Number one, you're saying it's fixed or rigged, and the other thing is you keep using the word they. First of all, explain who they is. Who's against you? Who is the they? Is it just the Browns fans? Is it us? Is it the NFL? Is it all of America? Like, what is going on here, guys? Next thing is just saying this stuff is fixed or rigged. Like, come on, you can say like a game, like the Super Bowl's fixed or rigged, but like the Defensive Player of the Year, like generally you're stand to lose money or you're going to gain like power or influence. What does the NFL, now tell me this because I've said this online, what does the NFL stand to gain from this? Like, this award is chosen by 50 people, and they watch way more tape than you and I. So take it up with them. I mean, the Watt just didn't win the award, and Micah Parsons got her back. I mean, watch the tape. Stats are stats. Go Brownies.
So obviously that takes us into Myles winning his first and well-deserved Defensive Player of the Year award. Mm-hmm. I've never seen a fan base meltdown over an award that
it's been bad.
That they say they don't care. Nobody,
so
all we cares about Super Bowls anyways. Well, then why are you in our mentions talking about it? For a group of people who don't care, you're very salty. I've been very proud of Josh online, just like picking
every day, man. Every day. And did you see the trap I set today about Chris Jones?
It was very good.
It was awesome. I said that Chris Jones really sucked last night in the Super Bowl. He had 4 tackles, no sacks, no tackles for loss, just complete box score, non-existent, disappearing act. He's a fraud and all this stuff. And I had so many Steelers fans that I've already argued with this weekend saying, what are you talking about? He forced Purdy into a couple throws that would have been touchdowns if he hadn't put pressure on him. I'm like, thank you for stepping into my trap, you dipshit.
Doesn't matter, says Steelers fans are still in denial stage. There's at least 3 more steps to go before healing can happen. Bargaining, depression, and acceptance. It's a very good point.
That's good.
I've never seen a fan base become so unraveled over something. And we got people on Facebook coming at us like, well, all we care is about Super Bowls and AFC championships, blah, blah. Guys, I don't know. It's not the 2010s anymore or the 2000s or the 1970s. You're completely irrelevant in terms of postseason football. And I'm not saying that the Browns are the relevant team in this situation, but I'm not the one spouting off that all we care about is the Super Bowls. Super Bowls, Santonio Holmes hasn't been in the league in a really long time, guys.
Yeah, it's been like 15 years.
We have more playoff wins in your stadium in the last 5 years than you do. So stop. If all you cared about was Super Bowls and AFC championships, then you wouldn't be so butthurt that TJ Watt didn't win this award.
You're right, man. It's all week and it's been, well, take your participation trophy, your pity trophy. You know, who really cares about winning an award that, doesn't mean anything or isn't deserved? And I'm like, boy, you guys are really, really upset about this.
This person says, if it takes you 8 seconds to get a sack, is that better than forcing the QB to get rid of the ball in 2 seconds? Exactly.
I've had so many arguments about this where, it's driving me insane.
And here's the deal, too, is this is, I think, where the difference between like us and Steelers fans are. I can think that Myles Garrett deserved to be Defensive Player of the Year and still say TJ Watt is awesome.
A great player.
If Parsons would have won, I just said, yeah, okay, cool. He deserved that. If Crosby would have won, same thing. Watt, same thing.
Yes.
What's the big deal?
Exactly. If TJ Watt would have won, I wouldn't have been screaming that I wouldn't be losing my mind.
No, we'd be like, okay,
because
cool.
I can recognize that Myles Garrett and TJ Watt can both be top level great players. Steelers fans they don't have it. Maybe it's like the inbred. I don't know what it is, but they just don't have the ability to be like, only one can. They're like the Highlander. Only one can be great. There can be only one. That just shows like how old and nerdy I am. I'm referencing the Highlander.
So one thing real quick, can I nerd out for a second? Can I do some
absolutely
some stats?
Bro.
Because I was telling Justin before the show, I said, I feel like maybe we were a little unfair to Myles over that, last stretch of the season where we were saying too, like he's not doing anything out there. Sometimes you get a little frustrated as fans, but I looked at the kind of the deeper metrics, and after he got that shoulder injury in the Denver game, remember he came out, said, I felt a pop in my shoulder, left in a sling. We thought, oh shit, he's going on IR. Like we just lost Garrett. He played the rest of the season. And after that game, he came out against the Rams and he only had 2 total pressures in that game. And then after that, he had 4 of his, the next 4 games were 4 of his highest pressure rate games of the entire season. So he was getting after the quarterback. And what I went through and looked up, every single quarterback that we faced had one of their lowest time to throws against the Browns over that stretch. Like what their season average was, they were at least a full 10th or 2/10 of a second. And that's a lot to throw the football, less than what they were on their season average.
That's a step. And people might not think that's a lot, but a step in the NFL is the difference between a batted pass and a touchdown.
Yes. And all these Steeler fans come in saying, oh, well, he doesn't finish the play. I said, what good's a pass rush if he doesn't get the sack? I said, how's he supposed to get the sack if the quarterback already threw the ball? And I looked it up, and he was getting there in under, all these pressures are under 2.5 seconds. So that's how you get a pressure. It's got to be within 2.5 seconds, beat your man. And all of the quarterbacks were getting rid of the ball under that time. And the average time to throw was like 2.78 or something on the season. And all the quarterbacks we faced kept it under that number. So opposing coaches and coordinators and quarterbacks were saying, here's how we can move the ball against the Browns, get rid of the ball fast.
The Butthurt Squealers fans on the Facebook AFC North Trash Talk group are having a complete meltdown. I've been pounding them mercilessly.
Keep pounding, baby. We are too. It is so much fun.
And I'll tell you what, it's a fan base that is realizing, like,
the window may be closing.
Yes, and obviously it seems like they're always going to be competitive because of the culture they have and the coach. They have. Yep. And again, we've never come on here and said that like you guys are irrelevant. You guys are the ones who can't see both sides to anything. That being said, like your team, like you better hope Arthur Smith is the answer. Now I see they're going after Ryan Tannehill.
I saw that too. I said, bring him in, baby. Bring him in.
I love all that.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
Like,
I'm here for that.
Like, it's like, are they not going to learn? I'm not saying Ryan Tannehill is trash, but
he was a lot better.
That's not the guy I'd be going after right now.
If it was 4 or 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah. So, like, it's a team that still thinks it's 1970s or 2010. For a team that thinks they're so awesome, you had Prime Ben, Prime AB, Prime Le'Veon Bell, Troy Polamalu, James Harrison. You won 1 Super Bowl with those guys.
You want to know what's interesting about James Harrison?
If Troy was still on the team with that year, I don't remember all. That was so long ago. I was literally 15.
So they're all saying that Myles didn't lead the league in any of the stats as far as tackles, sacks, tackles for loss, forced fumbles. Like those are the kind of the main things they throw in your face. And if you go back and look at when James Harrison won Defensive Player of the Year for the Steelers in 2009, neither did he. He didn't lead in any category.
Yeah. Like you can lead. Who's the linebacker who used to play for the Browns? The white guy went to Carolina, I think.
He went to Jacksonville.
Schobert.
Yep. That dude had lots of tackles. Should he have been Defensive Player of the Year?
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
You look at like Lamar Jackson didn't lead in passing yards, didn't lead in touchdowns.
He was barely top 10 in any of that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, he wasn't. And so what? It's just wild. And some of the comebacks that they come back with after you point simple things out to them, it's just, they're melting down because they'll say, well, we own you.
How many Super Bowls you guys got?
Yeah, I saw somebody say, we own you. I said, you mean since we beat you guys in 2020 and ended Ben's career, you guys have absolutely fallen off. And this year we beat you with DTR. You finished behind us in the AFC North. I don't think this is... I don't think you can say you own us.
I'm pretty sure if you go back like 5 years, we're essentially like we might be 500 with them, or it's a game either way.
Yeah,
and we beat them in a playoff game at their field.
Right.
So again, it's a what have you done for me lately league. I don't care what happened 7 or 8, 9 years ago. I guess that's where Steelers fans.
Well, and they say the same thing because I always point out they're like, well, how many Super Bowls you got? We got 6. I say, well, the Browns have 8 Pro Football championships. oh, nobody cares about things that happened over 50 years ago. I said, well, I don't give a shit about things that happened over 10 years ago. Yeah. So that means we're 0-0.
If we don't get to count our 8 championships, then why do you get to count anything in your history?
Yeah.
Where's the line? You could care about things at 25 years, but not 26 years.
Exactly.
At 27 years, but not like, where's the line? They're so dumb.
They are very dumb. And that's what I've been saying to a lot of people. There's a lot of football illiteracy is what I'm calling it, coming out of Pittsburgh. And I never would have thought that a Defensive Player of the Year award, not going to their guy, could do this, but it has exposed them as like idiots. They know nothing. And it cracks me up that it all comes down even from TJ Watt himself. Like he went to Twitter immediately and just posted, nothing I'm not used to. While Micah Parsons out there like, yeah, okay, good for you, Myles. Yeah, you deserve that.
Nothing I'm not
being
used
a little
to,
bitch.
Like at what point in your life have you just really had it so hard? Like nothing I'm not used to. Oh man. Yeah. Oh, I was a first-round draft pick.
Good point.
Oh man, I've been Defensive Player of the Year. Oh man, everybody knows that I'm one of like the top 5 defensive players. I'm always so put down. No, you're not. Shut the fuck up. You've literally lived life on a silver platter for the last 10 years. Nothing I'm not used to. What? Oh my, victim mentality.
Oh my gosh. I said immediately that I lost so much respect. And the thing is, I respected TJ Watt. We always talk about TJ Watt's one of the best defensive players in the league. And he comes out and does this shit. And it's like, you can't even congratulate a fellow peer in winning an award. I just lost a lot of respect for TJ Watt.
The only thing worse than that was his brother's hair last night.
Man, that was wild, bro.
Was it 2003 again?
Yeah.
I was surprised he wasn't wearing like the white seashell necklace and like some cargo shorts and maybe some like some Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? What is going on with this dude? Who said, hey man, you can go on TV like that?
You figured they kind of.
I'm not even like, it's not like I'm over here. I'm not Mr. Style. I mean, I got like a borderline buzz cut. I'm just like a normal Joe Schmo guy. I'm fat guy, black cheeks. Okay. But I'm not going on TV like that. I was like, what the fuck is he doing?
We all kind of.
He looked like he stuck there's so much gel. I didn't know they still made hair gel.
No, they do.
Well, they don't because he took it all.
Like it was like, is that LA? Was it LA Looks?
LA Looks.
LA Looks. Oh man, I was like, what is going on? Yeah. I did want to address Face Disabler up here said let's not throw shade at Joe Schobert. He did what he could. That wasn't shade. I'm a big Joe Schobert fan. I was just saying the dude, he had lots of tackles and nobody was clamoring for him to be defensive player.
Exactly. No, that was not shade. That was just an example.
But yeah, so congratulations to Myles. Hopefully he can build on this. Again, I would love for Myles to be able to not have an injury, put together an entire season, but the fact that he tore his shoulder up and still had a huge impact on the game. Yep. And like people have said, if you gave any coach in the league, you can pick between Myles Garrett or TJ Watt, I would say 95% of them at least are taking Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when we're Browns fans, I understand that there's a lot of people bitching right now online and they don't watch the games. They're just being, dicks. But Myles Garrett, I mean, when he rushes the passer, it's ferocious and relentless. And another thing that we have gone this entire segment without mentioning is how many times he gets held. And I know that they all get held.
Oh, bro.
But go to Google. Everybody listening, watching, go to Google, take 5 minutes and just type in Myles Garrett hold. And look at the pictures. There are so many different screenshots from all the games this year with his shoulder pads up here, his face being ripped this way. It's
all
crazy.
Of them, though, dude. That's all of them.
I understand.
If you go back, I saw some replays from last night.
Yeah,
on that game winning, on like the game winning drive for the Chiefs. Nick Bosa is just being like literally tackled.
I guess my point with that is he's still able to
impact the game,
to record a pressure within that 2.5 second,
despite the hold.
Oh, and another thing real quick, an ESPN stat, because I know a lot of people do not like PFF. They want to cry about that. So let's look at ESPN. Myles Garrett, when he was facing a single team, just one blocker, had a 30% pass rush win rate. That was number 2, according to ESPN. Michael Parsons is at 35, so he was number 1, and then TJ Watt was down at 25. Myles Garrett, when he's facing a double team, his pass rush win rate was 29. So he dropped from 30% to 29%, which was number 1. TJ Watt dropped from 25 to 14 against double teams.
Oh.
When have you ever seen two tight ends follow a TJ Watt around
that
on the
Titans
field?
game was awesome.
That's another thing too. I don't watch enough Steelers games, but TJ Watt doesn't go down and play inside.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
With the 320-pound guards and centers, Myles plays up and down the line now that Jim Schwartz is here. So, congratulations to Myles. I mean, just keep rubbing it. Anytime you see a Steelers fan from now until whenever they finally decide to let it go, just keep rubbing it in their face.
I can't wait to get back on Twitter after the show and just start going back at them. It's been fun. It's been a good time.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.